Salutation. Good morning. Fact or fiction? Let's talk about the proposals in the election process in the state of Michigan. Proposal 22-1, Proposal 22-2, and Proposal 22-3. Let's start with Proposal 22-1. This is dealing with an amendment to the Constitution that would allow the legislator to last or to stay in office up to 12 to 14 years, which is changing the Constitution from 4 years. Also, it's supposed to make individual donors, etc., information accessible. There's a lot of pork in that there. I would say no. Fact or fiction? Why change the Constitution to extend the offices to individuals to 14 to 12 years beyond the limitations that's already set in play? I don't know. Is that a fact or a fiction? I say no. We should keep it just like the Constitution say and keep them in office according to what it has says, as opposed to amending it and they added pork in there for some flavor. Proposal 22-2. This is dealing with the election process, right to vote. This is an interesting concept, which it says no bribery or interference with anyone's voting rights or right to vote. There's a lot of pork in that as well. I would say that everybody need to do what they need to do by means of getting them a passport ID. Everybody need to get passport IDs, just like all the foreigners and individuals that enter the United States of America. They get passport IDs and passport cards. Our race is the only one that does not have these cards. You get these cards here, as far as the election process, all that's going to change. Because now you're on the level of the same people that's providing the money to all the states. Make any sense? Passport ID. Even individuals come from incarceration can get passport IDs. Just like you can vote in Michigan, you can also go down to the post office and get yourself a passport card or a passport booklet. Whatever the case may be, you need it. Proposal 22-3, amendment. This here is dealing with the reproductive system. The Roe v. Wade, the abortion process. This also have a lot of pork. And it also concerns me when Kim Worthy get up in there, in spite of, my past experience, knowing that individuals that are incarcerated, and then for you to jump on this here, this also still put the state in play over your children, meaning that they could do some other things. So it's a lot of pork in there, when it comes to that abortion and the reproductive situation. That's a very interesting conversation, fact or fiction. But nevertheless, though, that's on you to vote for this situation there. Me personally, hey, I think it's a problem because it's a lot of stuff that's not being said among all these proposals. People don't do homework with these proposals, fact or fiction. They just pop up on the ballot out the blue and the individual's supposed to know, but they don't have no information. Y'all need to consider these proposals, especially Proposal 3, when it comes to the reproductive freedom. Yeah, it may be reproductive freedom, but what stipulations is the state putting on this? Believe me, there is some pork in that. Proposal 2, the right to vote. I say get your passport IDs, get your passport cards, and get in line, like every other nation. So you won't have to worry about that kind of stuff. You get them kind of credentials because you got to remember who's supplying all this dollars. I start to say, yeah, but nevertheless, fact or fiction, pay attention to the proposal, especially 22-1. I say no. 22-2, I say get yourself a passport ID. 22-3, that's tricky. that is tricky. And if you notice on that last commercial, it's a bunch of prosecutors pushing this agenda. Think about that. Have a nice day. Fact or fiction.